going to be learning Kerosene by Yves Tumor. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. Sue me. So let's get right into it. So the entire riff that he's playing, because I'm not going to teach like the background chords part. I'm just going to teach the guitar part where midway through the song it comes in and it's like this big swell, and it's just that repeating guitar riff. That's the part I'm going to teach. All right, so the entire riff is going to be based around the F major pentatonic. So if you haven't played that before, it's just going to be starting on fret 10 of the low E. And I'm going to talk about it in terms of finger position. So I'm going to say 1 through 4, 1 being my index finger, 2 being my middle, 3 being my ring finger, and 4 being my pinky. And the span, like a 1-4 span, is going to be 10 to 13, right? So the F major pentatonic scale is going to be 1-4 on the low E, 1-3 on the A, 1-3 on the D, 1-3 on the G, 1-4 on the B, and 1-4 on the high E string, right? So that's going to be the scale we're using, and the entire riff is located in that scale. So that just gives you, when you're learning it, it gives you a nice frame of reference that, as long as you focus on that scale, you're not going to be memorizing random notes, you're just going to be memorizing patterns from the scale. So really the whole riff could be broken up into 3 separate parts. So we're just going to go over section 1, which is kind of the main repeating lick. So for section 1, we're going to start on fret 12 of the G string, right? When he comes in, so, the music starts to build, and then he comes in with that first note. It's just going to be fret 12 of the G string, and we're just going to play it with some vibrato, which means I'm just vibrating my finger back and forth to kind of make this, almost like squiggly sound. Right, so the music builds up, and I play my first note. After I play this, I'm going to go down to fret 10 and back up to fret 12, still on the G string. So far, right, we have 12, 10, 12. Now I'm just going to bend fret 12 up. Then we're going to come back down, so we bend. And we're just going to play the 12th fret normally and back to 10. Right, so far. That's what we have. Now we're going to get into this pattern where we're just playing in groups of 4 and we're descending, right? So we played. So this note would be the first note of the grouping of 4 that we're going to play. So we're going to go. And what I'm doing there is I'm starting on fret 10 of the G string. Then I'm going to the D string, and I'm going to fret 12 and fret 10 again. And we're pulling off from fret 12 to fret 10 on the D string. And then we're going down to the A string, and we're playing fret 12 on the A string. And just a small tip for when we're pulling off is we are trying to pull up on the note, but we're also pulling back as well, right? So when I'm doing a pull off, and I'll kind of get closer to the camera here so you guys can see. So what I'm doing, instead of just going and lifting up straight, I pluck it, and then as I lift up, I'm also pulling back a little bit, and that's what's helping me get the note to ring out, right? So I'm not just going straight up, I'm going kind of like up and out to get the note to ring out. All right, so we left off. This is what we have so far. Right, so we left off there on the A string. Now we're just going to do the same descending pattern that we've been doing in groups of 4, and we're starting on fret 10 of the D string. So we're going 10th fret of the D, so we're starting on the 10th fret of the D string, then we're plucking fret 12 of the A and pulling off to fret 10 of the A. So just like we did before, right? So we're plucking these 2 notes, but then we're pulling off. So we're not plucking fret 10 of the A string. And then I'm also gonna, so for the last note, so I played, I'm also gonna hammer on, so I'm not plucking fret 13 of the low E. I'm not gonna pick that at all. I'm just gonna hammer on. And then to finish it up, to finish the entire section 1 riff, we're just gonna go back to fret 10 of the A string. So what we have so far, so sometimes there's a small variation on section 1. So instead of just playing this intro part, he goes, so all we're changing there is we're playing fret 10 and fret 12 on the G string. Then we're bending up and coming back down and pulling off to fret 10. So what we're doing is we're playing 10, 12, bending up, coming back down and pulling off. Right? It's a pretty common move, right? If you play like blues and you improvise, you probably do that a lot. So we're just going to do 10, 12, bend up, bend back down, release, and pull off. And then we're just continuing the riff as normal, right? So nothing changes except that, initial intro part, but you don't even have to include that if you don't want to. You'll still kind of get the bones of the riff if you just play section 1 how we went over in the beginning. Okay, but that's just a variation that you could throw in if you feel like you want to. So just to go over that one more time, I'll go over both. So the main intro that he plays, right? That's the normal intro that he plays. And then if we want a variation, right, we're just doing that bend and release into the pull-off. So we'll go with section 2, right? So the next thing we're going to work on, we have a repeating lick already, is this section. And this section is pretty straightforward. So all we're doing, and I'm kind of adding something extra just because I think it sounds good, and that's going to be something called a unison bend. So you don't have to do that, right? So the normal lick, what he's playing, is he's on fret 13 of the B string, and he's bending that, right? So he's bending it to 15. And then we're just coming back down to fret 13. So we're bending up to 15 and back down to 13 on the B string. And then we're going back down to the 10th fret of the B. Next, we're going to bend on fret 12 of the G string and go back to fret 10 on the B string. Right, so we're playing fret 12, we're bending, pretty common blues move, right? So once we play fret 10, we're going to go back up to fret 13. And to finish the phrase, we're just going to play fret 12 without bending. Right, so the whole phrase, nice and slow. I'll play it one more time. Right, so that's section 2. The last section we're going to look at is nice and simple. It's just 2 notes. And it's the big bends that kind of follow the vocals in the song, right? So when the vocals sing the high note, they also bend up to that high note as well. So all we're going to do for that is we're going to go to fret 15 of the high E, and we're just going to bend up to fret 17, right? So this is the note we want, and we're just going to go, so we're just going to bend, and then we're going to mute, right? So we're bending, and then we're muting however we want. We could use our right hand. We could also use the pick. Because we don't want to hear that, you know, that the bend coming back down. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear 2 clean bends coming up to the note and then being muted. And those are the only 2 notes in that section, right? So all we're doing is we're going to fret 15, we're bending it once, muting, and then bending again. So those are all 3 sections for the song. I'm just going to play through them slow. I'm going to play through the whole thing slow, just so you could get a sense of how it all fits together. Right? So when the guitar comes in, right? So that's going to be the entire thing nice and slow. So you kind of see how all 3 sections fit together. I would say it's not super difficult to play. It definitely sounds good and it will impress some people, but it's straightforward. You know, you're just playing in that pentatonic box, number 1. Yeah, so I don't think it's too difficult. Hopefully it's a fun lesson. And the last thing I'll say is, you know, if you like this video and if you feel like you learned something from it and you enjoy this song, please subscribe to my channel. It definitely really helps me out and I would appreciate it. But yeah, good luck and enjoy the lesson.